for reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we offer respectful obeisance to the personality of Godhead Narayan and to Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and to Mother Saraswati, because of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance of the class of the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service, the pure devotee, although distortion to the heart is nearly completely destroyed, and loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. So 1-25. Pecire munayo tyagre bhagavantam adoksayam sattvam visutam kshemaya kalpante ye notaniha. Word for word translation. Bejire rendered service unto Monaya, the sages, Atta, thus, Agre, previously, Bhagavantam, unto the personality of Godhead, Adoksayam, the transcendence, Sattvam, existence, Vishuddham, above the three modes of material nature, Kshemaya, to derive the ultimate benefit, Kalpante, deserve, Ye, those, Anu, follow, Tan, those, Iha, in this material world. Translation and purport by Abhayacharya Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derived the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Commentary by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The purpose of performing religion is neither to profit by material gain, nor to get the simple knowledge by discerning matter from spirit. The ultimate aim of religious performances is to release oneself from material bondage and regain the life of freedom in the transcendental world where the personality of Godhead is the Supreme Person. Laws of religion, therefore, are directly enacted by the personality of Godhead, and except for the Mahajans or the authorized agents of the Lord, no one knows the purpose of religion. There are 12 particular agents of the Lord who know the purpose of religion, and all of them render transcendental service unto him. Persons who desire their own good may follow these Mahajans and thus attain the supreme benefit. First again, Vejire munayo tyagre bhagavantam adoksayam sattvam visutam kshemaya kalapante ye nutanniha. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from all material conditions, and thus they derived the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Mahyanati Mandasya, Nansan Salakya, Saksamitam Yena, Tasmai Shigrovena. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvashisha Shunyavadi Paskachai Desatarani. So, great sages in the past have worshipped the Supreme Lord to get the ultimate benefit. This one of the first questions of the sages to Sutta Goswami was, what is the Shreya, the ultimate benefit? That the Shreyas and Prayas. Prayas is the immediate benefit. The benefit for the body, the sense gratification. But which is temporary, but the Shreyas is the ultimate benefit, is the eternal benefit of regaining one's constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. So to attain that, it says one must follow these great sages, Srila Prabhupada said. They're the Mahajans. That, so the word is quoted many times, Mahajana yena gata sapanta. But where is that coming from? That's coming from the Mahabharata. And I put the verse on the screen, the Mahabharata. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhina nasafrisayasya matam nabinam dharmasya tattvam nitam kuryaham madhyanayena gata sapanta. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of the unadulterated self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. So, dry arguments are inconclusive. It's not by trying to bring something new that people will benefit. The knowledge is already there. Muni means, in principle, speculator. He has to bring something new. But that's not what mentioned here. It says, the personality whose opinion does not differ from others is considered a great sage. Does not differ. It comes from the Vedas. And it is explained by the Mahajans in the disciplic succession. That, and such Mahajans, because they have followed other Mahajans and they came to this great realization, the religious principles are hidden in their heart. Yeah, hidden in everyone's heart, because the highest religious principle is pure devotional service to the Lord. What is the natural state of the spirit soul? But they have realized it. So they have followed the Mahajans, they have followed the scriptures, and they have realized it. 3 ways that they can help others. That who are these Mahajans? 12 Mahajans. Here, this is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That yes, because the Yamadutas are asking Yamaraj about religious principles. That and Yamaraj explained the religious principles comes from the Supreme Lord. But there are only a few who understand the Supreme Lord. and those who have understood the Supreme Lord by pure devotional service, they are very rare. But so and he lists 12 marjans which are here on the screen. And these marjans, he says, they know the religious principles. Svayambhu Naradasambhu Kumara Kapalomune Palajana Kobishmo Bale Paya Sakirfayam. So the first is Svayambhu. It's Brahma on his lotus flower we see on the screen. And then Narada is there, his son. These are the first two. So Brahma is a householder. He's married with Saraswati, right? That he's a householder. And Narada is Brahmachari sannyasi, we can say. And then we have, next one is Sambhu. Sambhu is Lord Shiva. Sambhu, yeah, it means the best worshipper, that Lord Shiva. He's a householder, but there's no house. There's only a tree. That and not always the same tree, but he can be counted among the householders. And then we have the Kumara, the 4 Kumaras, the sons of Brahma, who have bodies of 5-year-old children since time immemorial, and they are traveling to enlighten people, that they can rarely be seen, that because they have subtle bodies, but they visited Prithu Maharaj, and he could see them, and there was an interesting conversation. But they are celibates. And then we have Kapila, Devahuti Kapila, the son of Devahuti, who instructs his mother in pure devotional service. So that's, yes, Kapila Dev is a householder. And then we have Manu. On the picture you see that left Swayambhuva Manu, who was concerned of his son Priyavrata, because Priyavrata, he gave his son the instruction to become the emperor. That Priyavrata was thinking, because he was doing austerities in the Himalayas, is that good for my spiritual life? And he asked his spiritual master, Narada Muni, and Narada Muni said, no, just remain a brahmachari, no need to do that. But then Brahma appeared on his swan, and he told, of course, he's a spiritual master of Narada Muni. He told Priyavrata, yes, you should become the emperor and engage in procreation. And Priyavrata asked the same question. Is that not dangerous for my spiritual life? Well, Brahma said, I got the order of the Supreme Lord to populate the universe. I gave you the same order. As long as you are focusing on that order, you will be protected against the illusory energy. Anyway, then another Mahajan is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj later married, he was a householder. And his grandson would be Bali Maharaj, as another of the Mahajans, the family of Mahajans. And then we have Janak, King Janak. King Janak, that it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, King Janak, because Lord Krishna says, yes, kings like King Janak, they attained perfection just by performing their occupational duties. That King Janak was the king of Mithila. His daughter was Sita, was offered to Ram. Anyway, that's Ramayana. And then another Mahajan, Bhishma Dev, who was, he was a brahmachari, because, yeah, of course, the Janaka was a householder, but Bhishma Dev was a brahmachari. That's a whole story, of course, you know all the story. That so he was a powerful brahmachari, that a celibate, that, and he was instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj on the battlefield with his body full of arrows. And he was instructing him during many days in how to rule the kingdom according to the religious principles. And he explained them all the religious principles. And he said, if you follow these religious principles, then you will be always protected by these religious principles. And that's interesting. If we follow the principle of Krishna consciousness, we will always be protected by that. Of course, then we have the 11th Mahajan is Srila Sukadev Goswami, which you see left with Maharaj Pariksit at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. That so he speaks the Bhagavatam. So he was liberated from birth, was instructed by his father in the Bhagavatam. But of course, his spiritual proposition was that he was the parrot of Radharani. So that's his esoteric position. And then the last Mahajan said, so Yamaraj said, Vayam and me. Here you have Yamaraj, who has a discussion with the Yamadutas, his servants. That, yes. So these are Mahajans. But there are also sages who are not Mahajans. They are called munis of mental speculators. That, like you have the 6 darshans. 6 darshans. In India, in every school they learn the 6 darshans. The Indians know 6 darshans, the 6 philosophies of India. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Karma Mimamsa, and Vedanta. But these are speculations, because they do not come to the conclusion of devotional service. Krishna is not involved until you come to the Vedanta, if you take it as the Bhakti Vedanta, not the impersonalist Vedanta. And they are in pairs, Nyaya and Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Mimamsa Vedanta. Like Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya is a philosophy of the yoga. The yoga is a practice. Karma Mimamsa means elevation to the heavenly planets. And all pious activities, according to Karma Mimamsa, there is no God. You just do pious activities and you get the reaction So that's all what you have to know. Karma is supreme. So these are mental speculators. Now, if we read this verse, yes. So the sages, they knew the ultimate benefit. The ultimate benefit. So the ultimate benefit means they knew the goal, the Mahajans. Mental speculators, they did not know the goal. But Prahlad Maharaj explains, yes, Nate vitusvartyatimi vishnum durasye vairachtamanina andayat anderpaniyamas tepistantyam udam nivada. This is an instruction of Prahlad Maharaj. Nate vitus svartyatimi vishnum. That's so it means Nate vidu, they don't know. They don't know that Svarta Chatim, that Svarta Chatim, they don't know their goal, their interest, their ultimate benefit. He Vishnum, without the S. That means they don't know that ultimate goal is Vishnu or Krishna. Therefore, Durasya Ebair Arta Manina. Durasya Ebahir. That they are Durasya, they are ambitious. I'm going to enjoying the material world. And by that, Bayer Arta Manina. And they consider external world, everything, that's achta, that's valuable, they think. And they think that manina, in the mind. So that's the problem. We think, yes, we get our benefit from this world here, but our benefit does not lie in this world. It lies in our relationship with Krishna. So that so all this, they are misled the people. It says anda means that people who are blind. Anda yata ander. So one blind man is leading another blind man. That upaniyama means leading. They are leading. So one blind man is leading another. And what happens? Here you have a lot of blind men. They fall into a ditch. They miss the right path and fall into the ditch. And then, because one attached man is leading another attached man, and by that they become bound by the laws of nature. Like you see this bull here, he has this ring in his nose, and then the cord is bound, very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life. So we see that but in the Mahajans, they have realized their relationship with Krishna. So the solid truth of religious principle is hidden in the heart of the unadulterated self-realized person, the one who performs pure devotional service always without any adulteration. Most people in this world think the goal of life is to fill their stomach. And that's the first thing. The second thing is to have a nice place to sleep. That's the next goal. But we see the Bhagavatam does not agree with that. That even if one is materially advanced, one may feel unsatisfied. So the Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the source of satisfaction. And Prahlad Maharaj explains this here as one of the marjans. So these marjans, they teach us the path to find permanent happiness. They teach by their instructions and their mood. So everyone may have opinions in this world. But what are these opinions? They are just reflections of material nature. All these munas, they are apratishta. They are inconclusive. The Sankhya philosophy in the Saddarshans is coming from a fake Kapila, not the devotee Kapila. But it's the same philosophy, but the beginning they cannot explain. We explain everything comes from the glands, from our Vishnu and so on. But they start their process somewhere in the beginning. And they say the jiva becomes attracted by material nature somewhere or another. But they cannot explain from where the jiva comes and material nature comes. They start somewhere in the middle. So it's not conclusive. That it's apratishta, not study, not reaching any conclusions. There are so many scriptures with so many opinions. Worship Shiva, worship Indra as supreme. And although these rishis, like Kanada, Gautam, Patanjali, who are behind the 6 darshans, they have all their opinions. Our opinions are colored by what we are inspired for. That's the problem. Because for those in the mode of ignorance, they will worship Kamsa, Ravan, and Hiranyakashipu. They are their marjans. So there are different scriptures in different modes for different people to fulfill their desires. But the ultimate benefit is found here in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Krishna came personally to speak Bhagavad Gita to show us the right way. And we should follow the authorities, the marjans, and not all these speculations. So I think this was an important verse. Any question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for class. I wanted to ask, you know the list of the Mahajanas, who came up with that list? Was it Krishna?
No, it was Yamaraj. Yamaraj, he told it to the Yamadutas that these are 12 Mahajans he mentioned, but everyone who also follows strictly these margins and comes to the ultimate realization, becomes also a Mahajan. Like Srila Prabhupada is our Mahajan, that he has realized everything. So that's the power. But the point is made here, yes, we should follow these margins. They are mentioned in the scriptures. They are sure. They tell the right thing. They are repeating what Krishna has said without any adulteration. And they have realized this knowledge by following the disciplic succession. And that's the message here. But yes, it comes from Yamaraj, because he has followed also these margins. They are in a special position. Does that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
Something else? Good. Thank you very much. So this evening at 7 we have Nectar of Devotion. That Nectar of Devotion, we will discuss chapter 5 about the purity of devotional service. It's important that we know what purity is and strive for that purity in devotional service. So, see you this evening. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.